Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Jack. Declare this meeting open at 7 a.m. Disclaimer: in accordance with the Regulation 14L of the Local Government Act, Administration Regulations 1996, this meeting is being audio recorded, and the recording will be published on the town's website within 14 days. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action as a result of a council decision tonight until such time as the minutes of the meeting are published or have been advised in writing by the council's administration with regard to any particular decision. Elected members are asked to ensure the use of their microphones for the purposes of the audio recording. We've got no questions or statements tonight. So again, we declare the meeting open now at 7:01. Record of attendance, apologies, and leave of absence. Leave of absence? No. Apologies? No. Electronic attendance? No. We're all present. 3, disclosure of interest. Cap? Yes.
Just declare that item 17.1.1, interim CEO employment contract. Declare I have a direct financial interest. The nature of the interest is the matter concerns my terms of employment with the town of Claremont.
Thank you, CEO. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to item 13.2.1, Western Australian Planning Commission's Draft Station Precinct Improvement Plan and Improvement Scheme Swanbourne, I disclose the following financial interests in this matter. My home is within the mapped 800-metre area of the Draft Station Precinct Improvement Plan, but outside of the area proposed by the officer's recommendation. If the WACPC reduced the proposed precinct boundary based on feedback from council, there could be a perception that this change may affect the value of my property. I'm also employed by GHD Group Pty Ltd, a professional services firm providing built environment advisory and design services, and GHD has been involved in many Metronet projects associated with rail alignment and station works. Although these interests are remote, I've decided to declare an interest in this matter. I'm not aware of any GHD commitments in relation to Swanbourne Station, and the potential impact of any redevelopment on nearby properties is also uncertain and would depend on future outcomes, including the decision-making of the WAPC. I'm making this disclosure out of an abundance of caution to maintain public confidence and support in the integrity of council's decision-making. In making this declaration, I do not rule out participating in future council processes relating to the proposed precinct. As with this matter, I will consider any relevant interests and their connection to the subject matter on a case-by-case basis, and I will leave the room and return after this matter is determined. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. For response to previous public questions taken on notice is Neil. Public question time. There are no questions tonight. Public statement, no statements tonight. Applications for leave of absence. No one's planning on going on holiday? No. Forecast? No. Nil. Petition, deputations and presentations. A petition from Graham Potter of Swanbourne has been received by the CEO requesting the enlargement of the dog exercise area in Lake Claremont Park. It has a total of 473 signatures in support of the petition. 224 signatures are Town of Claremont residents. The petition statement is as follows. At present, there is a large area of Lake Claremont Park that is underutilised and is currently allocated as a dog on lead area. It lies adjacent to the existing dog exercise area south of Lake Street Car Park. It is seldom used. The adjacent dog exercise area is overutilised and often crowded. We propose that the underutilised dog on lead area is changed to a dog exercise area. Doing so still leaves a sufficient area separating the dog exercise area from the pedestrian bitumen path. So we'll now have a mover and seconder that council receives the petition from Graham Potter regarding the Lake Claremont Park dog exercise area and requests the CEO prepare a report for the council's consideration. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Mayne, and a seconder, Councillor Gersey. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried. No dissent. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes of a previous meeting. A mover and a seconder. Moved Deputy Mayor Kelly. Seconded Councillor Fernandez. All those in favour? Carried. No dissent. Announcement of confidential matters for which the meeting may be closed to the public. 17.1.1, the Temporary Chief Executive Officer Employment Contract. Item 11, business not dealt with from a previous meeting, nil. Reports of committee, 12.1.1, minutes of the Claremont Town Centre Advisory Committee held on the 10th of February 2026. It's received the minutes of the 10th of February 2026 Claremont Town Centre Advisory Committee meeting. A mover and a seconder. Moved Councillor Swan. Seconded Councillor Gersey. Councillor Swan. Nothing to say? Councillor Gersey?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
I just noted in the minutes that there's been a change from the nighttime activation grants to business support grants, and this is due to all the construction that's planned for the town centre, and so this is to try and activate the town centre over the next couple of years while all the building's happening in the town centre. So I personally think that's a really good suggestion and a good thing to do.
Thank you, Councillor Getz. Anyone like to speak for? Anyone against? Or move it? All those in favour? Carried. No dissent. Reports of the CEO. 13.1.1, review of infrastructure policies. A mover and a seconder. Moved. Who'd like? Oh, Councillor Fernandez. Seconded. No. Councillor Gersey. Councillor Fernandez. No. Great, thank you. Councillor Gersey? No. No?
Thank you. I don't have anything to add.
Through you, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
if I could possibly make an amendment.
Sure.
I'd like to make an amendment to LV 106. And the amendment reads, it's about vehicle crossovers. Where a footpath exists, the town will seek to maintain a continuous and safe pedestrian path through the crossover in Claremont Cream and on the pre-existing alignment, unless directed otherwise by the town. This is adding a sentence. It's adding to number 4.
Could you, sorry, Councillor Mayne, is that, could you just read that out again in full, please? Oh, sure. Yeah.
Number 4, vehicle crossover. Point 4 to read, where a footpath exists, the town will seek to maintain a continuous and safe pedestrian path through the crossover. All new or reinstated footpaths are to be constructed to town specifications in Claremont Cream and on the pre-existing alignment, unless directed otherwise by the town.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Kelly. Councillor Mayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason being, I think it's great that we're cleaning up these particular policies, but I do feel that our residents and also particularly builders need to make it has to be made really clear what our paving is all about, and paths come first. And we're just a little bit different because we have this Claremont Cream. Not sure if it makes us special or whether it makes us... We're different. And so we just want to make it really clear when someone logs into the website and footpath, what you have to do, you have to actually come to our admin and talk to them about making the path the right colour and having it go through any crossover. And I think unless we make it really clear, we will... if we don't make it really clear, people may not do the right thing.
Councillor Frank, have you got a question?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the word and safe pedestrian path through the crossover. Am I correct that the crossover's the little bit right up against the road, or is it the whole driveway?
The whole driveway.
It is the whole driveway.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'm happy to support the amendment. In particular, I'm happy to support the specification of the cream to make it very clear. But I'm also very happy to support the other addition, which is unless directed otherwise by the town, because we have been a little creative in some circumstances, with particularly when we've been replacing slab with in situ cream concrete, where there's been trees, particularly that's impacting on the footpath. We've actually moved the footpath, gone around the footpath, and have been reasonably creative. And I think it's important that we're not just going to be single-mindedly going on to straight footpaths where there's a reasonable case for a slight variation in order to keep tree foliage. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to speak for the amendment. Anyone like to speak against or put it? All those in favour of the motion as amended? Okay. Right, we'll put the motion now as amended. Who'd like to speak for the motion as amended? No? Who'd like to speak against? No? Okay, we'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Review 13.1.2, review of council member agenda briefing forums, workshops and briefing sessions policy. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved Councillor Fernandez, seconded Councillor Sewan. Councillor Fernandez.
Yes, I'm very happy to support this policy because I think the addition of the workshops have been invaluable to me as a new councillor, understanding the history behind some of the policies which are coming up. And I think they enable us to have a bit more informal discussion and deeper delving into the issues underpinning a lot of the decisions we're making here. So I'm quite happy to support it.
Councillor Sewan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm also very happy to support this, especially the policy relating to council concept forums. We found it difficult in the past with standing orders, with briefing, to really engage in thoughtful strategy and openly discuss our thoughts on different matters. So I think this addition formally in a policy is well welcomed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak for? Anyone like to speak against? I'll speak for. Just like to acknowledge the forum process, and I think it saved me a lot of phone calls to and from explaining different elements, and credit to the interim CEO for bringing that forward, and also to the administration staff for actively participating in that. Also to the elected members. I realise it's another commitment, but I think it actually in some ways saves us all time to all be in the room to discuss these things together, and then we move forward together on that basis. So thank you all. I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. 13.1.3, Mayor and CEO attendance at ALGA National General Assembly. A mover and a seconder. Move Deputy Mayor Kelly, seconded Councillor Guzzi. Deputy Mayor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I think I'm not sure how many of the currently elected members have actually been to the National General Assembly in Canberra. It's cold. It's freezing, in fact, typically, because it's towards the end of June. The idea is that it's also combined with the Council of Local Government, which is an invitation to mayors and presidents from around Australia to meet normally with a subset of the cabinet, and this was a concept that was floated in the previous term of the Labor government by the current Prime Minister, in fact. So he gave an undertaking to reinstate it. It's a very useful exercise. So I think it's for somebody as a mayor or president, it's sort of a double header, because you not only get to the General Assembly, but you actually go to the Friday session as well. There are significant learnings to be had, particularly from talking and networking with councillors from other states and territories. It's the most significant event in Australia for local government. There are some high-level speakers. It's not. It's of national significance. It's not really local issues, and any notice of motion that's put up must be of a national flavour, not something that is particularly local to an individual council. It's a huge event, difficult to organise, but I think really well worth attending. It's not that you should attend every one, but it's certainly a great experience and a great learning and professional development experience. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Kelly. Councillor Geertz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I support this request. I know our previous mayor attended this National Assembly, and so I think it's definitely appropriate that you, Mr. Mayor, attend this in your new role. I think it's important for all council members to have the opportunity for training and professional development, and I'd really like to see a return to the pre-COVID days when councillors were able to attend local government conferences. So I hope at this assembly that you, Mr. Mayor, have the opportunity to speak to some of our planning ministers from the state, because obviously the planning issues are the ones that are the biggest issues that are impacting our town currently. I also think it's a very good opportunity for you to spend time with and get to know the new CEO who will be joining us about that time. So I support this recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Geertz. Anyone like to speak for? Anyone like to speak against? I'll put it, all those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you. 13.1.4, the Chief Executive Officer Recruitment Process Certification. A mover? Councillor Swan. Seconded, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Swan, very appropriate that you move this.
Yeah, this is the final step in the checklist of things we need to do to engage with our CEO. It's been a really well-run process, and I think it's great to recap that we had a unanimous vote in favour of appointing the CEO. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our governance manager, Jason, for all his work. He's been excellent and a great support to me as chair. So very happy that this is the final thing that we have to do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, look, I think it's important to note that this is a certification of the process, and you know, we've spoken before. We think we've been very lucky to get the person we've got. We look forward to that. But this is the process in which we went about it, and it's good to have that confirmed that we went through it in the correct manner, so that we won't be surprised down the track by anything. But it is another opportunity to thank the chair of the committee. I think they did a great job. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Well said. Anyone like to speak for? Anyone? Deputy Mayor Kelly?
Look, I think we demonstrate the exemplar of how to go about a recruitment of a new CEO. I think I've been involved in 3 appointments in this council. But the way that this was conducted and the capacity to have this is, I think, the first time we've done it with a requirement to have an independent panel member, and to have an independent panel member from our community who is also a recruitment consultant, a professional recruitment consultant in their own right, I think significantly added to the process. The fact that we were all given an opportunity in the sort of second round of interviews to to see the shortlisted, well, the remaining shortlisted candidates, and ultimately led to a unanimous decision, I think speaks volumes in terms of the future. In circumstances where you get split decisions on the appointment of a CEO, it doesn't all go well in the future because there are those that obviously supported the recommendation and those that don't. So I think that the thoroughness of the process and the engaging of every elected member, particularly in the latter stages, is money in the bank, and we should all be congratulated, particularly the committee that led the process and brought the recommendations back to the council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Kelly. Anyone like to speak for? Councillor Franklin.
I agree with everything that Annette, Graham and Paul have said, but I'd also like to thank our consultants. I don't know if I can name them or not, but they worked with us. They were highly skilled, very attentive, and along with the independent person, we had a really top team working together in the best way we could. I thought it was a great outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Franklin. We'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you. 13.1.5, 25-26 mid-year budget review. A mover, please. Yep. Councillor Fernandez and a seconder. Councillor Franklin. Councillor Fernandez.
I'm happy to move the amendments. I think a lot of them are very sensible amendments. We basically had a concept forum on this and discussed the rationale behind a lot of these things. I'm really happy about the right-of-ways, the inclusion of 40,000 for a right-of-ways manager to start the process of dedications and the investigation so we can actually get on to fixing the problems. Yeah, that's good for me.
Councillor Franklin.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank our accounting staff, in particular Hazreen, who's done, and I think our interim CEO have worked together to, along with our other executive too. I think everybody's had a bit of input into this, and a lot of work's gone into it, and it looks good. Thank you.
Anyone like to speak for? Anyone like to speak against? I'll speak for. The situation, especially for Councillor Fernandez and I coming in to this year's budget, obviously there was a surplus that needed to be allocated, and we'd like to thank certainly the administration for their due diligence. The Director of Infrastructure, Mr. Kettner, thank you very much, and also to the whole finance team that identified, especially in the area of infrastructure, how those items were aligning, which then allows us to put that directly into, amongst other things, the future fund for the generations going forward, or even for our midterm structure. So I think how we got to the $1 million will park, but what it does set us up is that figure has been allocated to, amongst other things, the future fund. So thank you again to the administration. I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you. 13.1.6, the monthly statement of financial activity for the period ended 31st of January 2026. We'll put it. A mover. Councillor Franklin, a seconder. Deputy Mayor Kelly. Councillor Franklin, nothing?
No, we discussed it last night.
Yeah.
And it all
Deputy
looks
Mayor Kelly? No. We'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. 13.1.7, list of payments, the 1st to the 31st of January 2026. Mover and a seconder. We're going to have a repeat. Oh, no, new faces. Okay, Councillor Brown and Councillor Suwan. Welcome aboard, Councillor Brown. No, nothing. No. Councillor Suwan? No. Okay, put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Okay, the meeting item for the night, 13.2.1, the WAPC's draft station precinct plan. Thank you, Councillor Brown, for leaving the room. And improvement scheme, Swanbourne, Claremont. A mover and a seconder. A mover to table it at this point. Councillor Gertzy, and a seconder. Yeah. Councillor May. Councillor Gertzy. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I support the officer's recommendation to request a change of boundary for the improvement plan to ensure that the plan's realistic and practical. An 800-metre radius takes up approximately half the town and does not respect the limitations that we have in this area, such as heritage houses, open space and various school campuses. A smaller radius is required to make the improvement plan realistic and workable. So we read in the report that Claysbrook Station has significant portions of land that have been excluded, and I think this needs to happen in Swanbourne as well. We've already done a lot of planning work on the Swanbourne Shopping Precinct Centre and also the Claremont Town Centre Precinct Plan, and I think both of these need to be incorporated into the improvement plan. Claremont Council's always tried to be proactive with regards to sensitive infill and high density, and we've reached our allocated housing targets already. We have respected the government's requests to increase housing density, and I believe that the government needs to recognise the planning and the work that has already been undertaken by the council for the Swanbourne precinct and also the Claremont Town Centre. Claremont is clearly not a greenfield site. You can't just put an 800-metre radius around and expect the whole lot to be available for infill. It's an old town, it has issues of heritage, it has the multiple school campuses, it has regional open space, and there's also, in the area, there's also a lot of ageing infrastructure, which needs to be taken into account. I also believe that the residents of Claremont need to be informed of any major changes, and that consultation is absolutely vital to ensure that the residents have their say and that they're informed of what's going on. I also believe that we need time to consult with Cottesloe regarding the Swanbourne precinct. As I understand from reading in the Post that they've already done considerable amount of planning to meet the government's infill targets as well, like we have, and I'm sure they're feeling that they will need time to consult as well. So I support the officer's recommendation for this.
Thank you, Councillor Gertzy. Councillor May.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Councillor Gertzy mentioned, the smaller rectangle that we're looking at, rather than the giant circle, is it's sort of recommended, and it includes the shops on both sides of the train station and the railway land that are both obvious areas where anyone would start with development. And the giant swathes of land, the 3 public schools, the river, parks, there's no reason to have an eye pen with a set square drawing and upsetting a whole lot of people when that area is just not ever going to be in infill. I also feel that it'd really be a bad look to demolish streets laced with historic houses that are currently heritage listed. Hopefully the Heritage Society and societal norms have created values that will now prevent tragedies such as the demolition of the grand old homes of West Perth for officers in the 1960s. I'd really hate to see the day when a circle, which happened in the 60s, when the freeway went through and they took down the arch, all of West Perth was, one person with a pen said, let's build tall offices here. And some beautiful old homes were demolished forever. And it's almost like that 1960s no thought is happening again if this circle isn't amended. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Main. Councillor Swan, you have an amendment.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I have a series of amendments to the, so maybe if we can put them up and I can just talk through them.
We'll do these
Together? Yeah,
if that's okay
great.
with you.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'll read them out first. Yeah.
We'll read them out
Okay.
if you can.
So
please, in full.
I'm amending point 3, and I might start with the original. So the original said does not support the proposed boundary for the improvement plan because it's impractical and would not deliver a positive redevelopment outcome for the entire area. So what I'm intending to do is just make this a little bit more clear. So mine is does not support the proposed 800 metre radius boundary for the draft improvement plan on the basis that substantial proportion of the land within the proposed catchment comprises established low-density and heritage residential areas, major educational institutions and public open space with limited redevelopment potential. It's up there on the second. And the inclusion of land already is subject to the WAPC approved Claremont Town Centre Precinct Structure Plan, which creates duplication and potential policy inconsistency. My second point is for 4B. The original states that we need meaningful and transparent engagement with the Claremont community throughout the improvement scheme process, which I do agree with, but I'm once again to flesh this out to be a bit more detailed. Would you like me to read out the whole thing? Yes?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes. Advises that the town has concerns regarding the proposal and associated processes which have not yet been clearly explained to either the community or the town of Claremont, and is likely to create community confusion and uncertainty, and therefore recommends that prior to any further progression of the proposal, the West Australian Planning Commission prepare and publicly advertise a comprehensive community engagement plan for Swanbourne, and would encourage a long public consultation period and in-person community information sessions. Furthermore, Council requests that the engagement plan clearly articulate the purpose and objectives of the proposal, the proposed implementation and government framework, the respective roles and responsibilities of the state government and the local government, and how key matters including transport and access within the precinct, urban design outcomes, proposed densities and planning controls are to be addressed. And finally, I'll have an amendment to 4C. So the original point was delegation of the town of development controls for single houses and minor developments within the revised improvement schemes. I've fleshed this out further to say delegation to the town of assessment and determination powers for single houses, group dwellings up to 2 stories, minor development applications below a defined value threshold, example $2 million, within the improved scheme area to ensure determination timeframes do not exceed standard local planning scheme timeframes, and heritage properties and identify places with heritage streetscape importance.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. You'd like to speak to that now?
Yes, and the reason for this is that the amendments are intended to provide greater clarity and to assist the WAPC by clearly articulating the town's position in a way that supports transparency, consistency and practical implementation.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Deputy Mayor Kelly.
Sorry, that took a while. Would you like me to talk to it now?
Would you like to speak
I'd
to
just
it
like
now?
to...
You would like to speak to your amendment?
Just to speak a little bit.
Of course.
So the report was very well written, but for me, this report is going to be the basis of feedback that's going to go to WAPC, and I'm always a strong believer in the detail being in the officer's recommendation. So that was the reason for me just fleshing that out a little bit more. Basically, what I'm trying to do is add clarity and practical information. I want the town's position to be clearly understood by the WAPC, and I also want our community to feel represented. I'm very much concerned about the community engagement, so that I think was very important to be stated, and I want the community to feel engaged in the process as well. I also think that when we have clear actions, that it improves the defensibility of the town's position. So I'm hoping that this will support transparency and accountability. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I absolutely agree with the amendments. This has got a long way to run, and I think the more specification and detail we can provide in terms of a response, the better all round. I think it's better for the WAPC because they've got a better understanding of what council's position is, and it's important that the council has the opportunity to allow WAPC to engage with the community, not only the Claremont community, but all of the communities that are impacted by this current approach. We need to be very careful moving forward with this. It's another case where essentially we're losing a lot of control in terms of the statutory documents that we already have in place, because this basically over-trumps them. And as Councillor Swan has already indicated, in her amendment, some of this may be contradictory, so we need clarification in relation to that. The fact that we have gone beyond the target in terms of built dwellings is a little bit immaterial, because the government obviously is very keen to continue to drive infill and to speed up the availability of new dwellings, which I think generally we probably support, but not without some kind of caveats. And I think this does put some guardrails around our own preliminary thinking at this stage. And it's much better to do this than it is to try to dig our heels in and say, look, we don't want one of these things in our backyard, and try to fight the initiative, because it's a recipe for disaster. We will not fight it. We're better, and history has demonstrated this town has worked cooperatively as best as possible with the WAPC and their planning reforms, and it's paid dividends to this town. We haven't had our scheme taken over and modified unilaterally by WAPC, which some other councils have. So it's really important that we continue to work with the WAPC, but at the same time making it clear what our parameters are. So I think this is an excellent amendments.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Kelly. Anyone like to speak for the amendments? Anyone like to speak against the amendments? We'll put the amendments. All those in favour? Carried. No dissent. So coming back now to we'll come back to the motion as amended. That's all right. He's somewhere out there. Come back to the motion as amended. Anyone like to speak for? Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, look, I think the councillors who have spoken previously on this hit the nail on the head. I think the 800-metre circle is actually an 800-metre thought bubble, and I think if it's just the beginning of a collaboration, I think we can work with WAPC on this. It's the circle that's stupid. It needs to be a rectangle. Each zone needs to be treated differently depending on their significance, and Claremont clearly, and Cottesloe, the neighbour, it's clearly old suburbs, and they can't be treated as potentially other newer suburbs can. But I am hopeful that we can work with WAPC on this and come up with a satisfactory result.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Anyone else like to speak for? Anyone like to speak against? I'll speak for motion as amended. I think the last thing we want is a situation, as Councillor Mayne has indicated, where we have heritage listed buildings. The house next door is not heritage, and then they've got 8 stories. I mean, you drive through South Perth, and that's the situation that they're living with right now, which is tragic. So, you know, I'd encourage our administration to clearly indicate the number of heritage buildings. I think, thank you to the previous councils that went through that process, and our community have accepted it. And when I was last on council as a councillor, we dealt with heritage buildings very sensitively, especially in the second third of the DA process. So we're used to dealing with heritage, but where you have heritage against non-heritage, it can create a real juxtaposition in the community as you walk around our streets, especially in that particular area. I think the 800 metre, as a CEO, and I met with the other mayors and CEOs, was a huge question mark, especially for us, but then especially as you go down the track and it extends out into the ocean. It was kind of like, what are we doing here? So thank you to Councillor Swan tonight for making those amendments. I think they're very thoughtful in terms of the engagement. Again, the CEO and myself signed off a letter to the WAPC, to Emma Cole, encouraging Ms Cole to visit the Western Suburbs as a group, for us to lay out the plans as you go from Claremont right through to North Fremantle, what each area already has in place. What we've got in place in Claremont, which isn't indicated, but as you go through Swanbourne and Cottesloe and Mosman Park, what they've already got planned, which is quite significant. So I think when you lay out the whole track, along with the land that the state government already have at their disposal, I think we've actually currently in this year, as we stand now, actually got a very good plan for the Western Suburbs. What was questioned was whether we, as Councillor Mayne had indicated, whether we actually have the infrastructure to support some of that density as you come through the suburbs, and what we do about Stirling Highway, what we do about maybe linking Peppermint Grove through to us in terms of cycleways. So I think it's a first step. As Deputy Mayor Kelly said, it's going to be a process, and not necessarily a six-month process, but a multi-year process. But we welcome working with the WAPC on this project. Thank you. I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you. We welcome Councillor Brown back into the room. In the meantime, Councillor Swan, have you got anything to report for us?
I went along to the Wazzo concert, and it was exceptional as always. It was very well run, and it is extremely difficult to put together an event of this scale. So congratulations to the team that did this on a very hot day, but it was beautiful weather by the evening, and it was absolutely packed to the rafters. I'm a true believer that these community events are what make Claremont different. I know that not everyone that attends these concerts is from Claremont, but I do believe that bringing culture to the people is something that we do very well, and I congratulate the team for putting that together. I also attended the Foreshore Advisory Committee and also the review of the community consultation and mid-year budget review workshop. Thank you.
Councillor Ghazi.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I also attended the Wazzo concert along with 3,500 other people. It was just a most fantastic night, fantastic music, fantastic singer, and the conductor was just amazing. He ran his own stand-up comedy show alongside conducting the orchestra. I've had a lot of feedback, like Councillor Suwan has, from people saying this is something that Claremont does that's exceptional, that the other suburbs don't do, the other councils don't do, and so I've had a lot of very positive feedback. I attended the concept forum by Teams, and I want to say thank you to our interim CEO for introducing these concept forums. and also for enabling me to attend by Teams. So that was great to be able to be part of that. And I just wanted to comment that we've just had a bulk rubbish pickup in my street, and I'm just blown away at how it's the ultimate recycling opportunity. I put out some furniture, some old furniture. I went out for an hour. I came back an hour later, it was gone. My neighbours were the same. My neighbours are, they've bought some new furniture, so they put some old furniture out. Basically, as they were taking it out of the house, people were just coming straight out of the house onto a ute at the front. So most of the rubbish, the bulk rubbish that's put out, doesn't ever get to be rubbish. It gets to be recycled, and I think that's fabulous.
Thank you, Councillor Getzig. Councillor Franklin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I also attended the Concept Forum workshops, and very, very glad that we now have those, and as has been expressed earlier in the evening, it's a forum where we can discuss things and throw ideas around in a more, less formal environment that allows us to workshop ideas, and I think they're really good. And we did I chaired the Lake Claremont Advisory Committee meeting, and there was nothing particular to report there other than the progress of the Bora, and yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Councillor Main.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I also went to the meeting, the mid-year budget review and the review of community consultation. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Kelly.
Unfortunately, I missed the WASO concert with 3,000 people attended, but I wasn't 3,001. I've attended a numerous country zone meetings, so I've been sort of doing a fair bit of travelling lately, and an Australian Local Government Association board meeting, and some, I think we've had 1 or 2 concept forums. I'm getting confused with how many we're having. We're doing a lot of discussing, which is good, and I think the interrelationship between the administration and the elected members is very productive, and we're able to have some free and open exchange of ideas and discussion of topics, which is fantastic. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Kelly, anything to report from WMOC or WELGA from your perspective?
There is an election coming up on Wednesday. WMRC, we're due to have a meeting. We're actually I could share this with the CEO after the meeting. We're about to sign off on a number of our statutory documents, including the council plan and the future. We're also have commenced our own transportation process now and got rid of those 28-year-old silos, and now have a blade loading trailer, which is saving considerable costs in terms of transportation. We've pretty much finalised the DICOM situation, and that should start to be removed very soon. And we're also concurrently working on a master plan to reorganise the complete site so that we can be more efficient in the way we operate.
On behalf of this council, we commend you as being chair of the WMOC and writing that particular ship. So also wish you the very best wishes for the WELGA election. Councillor Fernandez.
Yep, I attended the Concept Forum, the WELGA Central Zone meeting with Councillor Kelly, the WASO concert, the review of budget meeting. Even last Saturday, I was inspired by the WASO concert to expand my horizons a bit, so I made it down to City of Bonnaroo for their equivalent of which a Night Under the Stars. Not as good, but they had fireworks, so.
Yeah, but you had to pay.
No, it was free.
Oh, is it?
It's free. It was their 40-year one, so I think they might have gone a bit overboard. But it was, yeah, good. Anyway, thanks.
Councillor Fernandez, did you say it was their 40th?
It's their 40th anniversary of being a city.
Right, well, they should try 127 years as a town.
Point that out, and then a councillor kindly pointed out that when we get to city status, we can we can discuss it with them.
It's like how many flags has Fremantle won? Well, touche. Councillor Cameron.
It's not a competition. Now listen, I attended the Concept Forum, and like others, would like to commend the CEO, the acting CEO, for introducing those. They are brilliant. It's only my third year as a councillor, and I think it's one of the biggest things we've done as a council to help it run better and to give us all a better understanding of the things we're involved in. Tim, I know you're only an interim CEO, but this will be something that will outlive your tenure here, and we'll be able to think of you kindly every time we have one. I also I missed out on the night on Bayview. I sacrificed myself and was the unofficial Claremont representative at the State of Origin football game, and I attended the review of community consultation and mid-year budget review workshop. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Yeah, I attended a couple of the concept forums. I think we heard how beneficial they are from everyone here, so thank you for everyone involved. I chaired the Foreshore Advisory Committee. Yeah, that's going well. There's not too many issues at the moment, which is great to see. And I also took the kids down to the park run at Lake Claremont again on Saturday. And there's about 200 people that go down there on a Saturday, so really great to see, really good for public health, really good for, I guess, the kind of facilities around there and the cafes and everything as well. So again, I encourage you, if you haven't been down, you don't have to run, you can walk, but it's a really good kind of Saturday morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brown. That's a great idea. Intend to join you on that one. I've been saying I've also attended what a lot of other councillors here have, but also I've been going around to our community leaders, for example, in the tennis club, the football club, and asking them what they expect of us over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of planning. Obviously, our interim CEO is very strong in that regard, and our future CEO is also very strong in forward financial planning. And so I expect that will come back through future forums, some of that feedback, and for us to input into, for example, what do we expect of the pool facility over the next 5 to 10 years? What do we, and we've just come out of that community survey as well, which aid us. So I'm currently backing up the community survey with direct contact with our community leaders to ask them that same question about what they're hearing from their membership, what are their needs, which has been fantastic. We've had a great response to me visiting with those particular groups. WASO was also, I agree, a great success. The community definitely loved it, and I did ask for a show of hands at various points about where people have come from, and probably, I think, what do you think, Councillor Gertie, 25% or 30% when I asked if you were from Claremont? Yes. About that? Yeah, about that. It was a bit hard to tell, yeah. You were sitting right at the front, so you're in the front row. So. I had a Canadian woman sitting next to me. She was waving her hand saying, "Oh, from Canada." Okay, sure. She received a picnic blanket, I think. Maybe she did. But look, it was a lot of fun. So thank you. Moving along now. 15 elected members' motions of which previous notice has been given, nil. 16 new business of an urgent nature approved by the person presiding or by decision of the meeting, nil. 17 confidential items for which the meeting may be closed to the public. The item relates to the employment of the CEO and is to be considered in a closed meeting to protect confidentiality in accordance with the Local Government Act, section 5.23 brackets 2 brackets B. We move that the doors are closed. Thank you. Moved Councillor Cameron, seconded Councillor Mayne. All those in favour, carried, notice in. See you all shortly. Open the doors. Mover and a seconder. Moved Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Franklin. All those in favour, carried, notice sent. We open the doors at 8:19. Item 17.1.1, temporary Chief Executive Officer employment contract. The Council, one, confirms that Mr Tim Clinch is suitably qualified for the CEO position. 2, approves the provisions of the existing employment contract attachment 1 as amended by variation attachment 2, and 3, backdating effect of the change to Schedule 2, Item 9 to the 10th of November 2025. Future meetings of Council, ordinary Council meeting will be on Tuesday, the 31st of March 2026 at 7 p.m. and we declare the meeting closed at 8:20. Thank you, everybody.